it's Tara, she of all things transformational, transformational bodywork, transformational guidance coaching, and for our purposes here today, transformational yoga and a little bit of yoga philosophy for us. So, today is, let's see, January 28th, 2025. And so a few things have just transpired. Not only is the world, in flux, there are some wars going on, there are fires in California, um, there are some big political transitions that some people are very happy about and some people are very unhappy about. Here in Western New York, our Buffalo Bills did not make it to the Super Bowl again. And last night we had a tremendous windstorm, and the weather has just been really, we've had righteous winter weather this year. So, why I'm bringing up all of this stuff is because the gift of yoga is that when the world is in tumult, the yogi weebles and wobbles but doesn't fall down. There's a sutra in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. I believe it's chapter 2, Sutra 16. In the Sanskrit, it says Hayam Dukam Anagatam, which means the suffering that could come should be avoided. And I love this one. I learned it many years ago with the wonderful teacher Judith Hanson Lassiter, and it has become a totem of my life because that actually has always been a theme of my life. Pretty much my entire adulthood, I wanted to avoid potential suffering. So, I have always done my best to mitigate an outcome that would lead to that. Doesn't mean I always succeed. Sometimes I fail terribly, but it's been at least a guiding force for me. And then when I realized that this was part of yoga, it really made a lot of sense because actually, by the time I learned that, I had already been practicing yoga for a really long time. And I realized, yes, it's true. A lot of my peers get, really bent about things that to me kind of roll off me like rain rolls off a duck. It doesn't really penetrate me the same. That doesn't mean I don't have the chinks in my armor. There are things that definitely trigger me for sure. I feel the energy in the world. I do experience all of these things, but I think that at my core, thanks to yoga, which includes meditation, breathwork, contemplation, I believe that a lot of times what is really, jarring to a lot of people, I'm able to kind of stay solid in the center. So when there were storms, these windstorms last night were so fierce. And, I could hear the house is shaking, and I have a lot of trees in my yard. And I just thought to myself, please may these trees be rooted well. May I wake up and all of the trees still be standing. And that's what I wish for humanity too. Not only do I wish for humanity to reduce the potential sufferings that could come by making better choices, but I also wish that when we are surrounded by tumult, when the winds are blowing and things are out of our control, I wish for us to have a sturdy center. So we're going to honor the trees, and we're going to honor having a sturdy center, and we're going to honor staying balanced today. So our practice is going to be more so a balance practice. And what you're going to need for today's practice is you're going to need some kind of a chair. I have a yoga folding chair. You don't need that. Any old chair will do. And then something to use as blocks. And again, it could be a footstool if you don't have proper yoga blocks or whatnot. So we're going to start actually just doing a seated hip opener in the chair. What you're going to do is you're going to sit in the chair and you're going to sit on the front edge of the seat. And notice I'm kind of walking my hips side to side a little bit and spreading the flesh of my gluteal muscles so that I'm hooking my sit bones on the front edge of that chair. And that gives me a nice lumbar curve and a good long, span from my head to my tail. And then I'm going to slide my left foot forward and place the right foot on my left thigh. Now, if you're very tight in your hips, you'll slide your left foot a little bit more forward to reduce the angle and reduce the stretch on the outer right hip. If you're very loose in the hips, you'll slide that left foot a little bit more in. Now notice I'm keeping this right ankle really, I'm keeping it squared. I call that a Tadasana foot. You're going to keep that right foot nice and active and squared. And if you can, just kind of bring that foot a little bit more towards the flesh of the thigh so that you can hook the foot there. Now, I have tight hips. No matter how much I stretch, they're usually pretty much always rather tight for someone who stretches her hips. So, your knee may fall out a little bit more, or if you're tighter, your knee may be up a little bit more. If you're tighter, please, move that foot forward. If you're looser, you can bring your foot a little closer to the hip crease and also, just guide this right outer thigh away from the shoulder. So I'm just using my right arm to help me do that, and we're going to take a few deep breaths here. Try to keep your posture nice and long from head to tail, and if you need to use your left hand, you can kind of push on the seat back a little bit to help you lift your chest, which will increase the stretch a bit. We're going to take a few good breaths here. Deep breath, exhale. If you want to increase the stretch, you can lift that left heel. If you are flexible and you want to increase a little bit more, you can pitch the chest forward and up. So I'm not suggesting round towards the leg. I'm suggesting rotate your hips over the thigh bones and keep a nice long front body. So the back has tone, ankle has tone, shoulders are relaxed, neck is relaxed, and the breath is deep. And just keep working, evolving the pose at your own pace. If you want, you can slide your right hand under the right shin, take that right leg up, hold the hand with the left foot, and just rock it side to side a little bit. This may or may not work for your particular body, but you can try. And then bring that leg down, and I just like to move it around a little bit before moving on. And then we'll switch sides. So slide the right foot forward, cross the left foot. You're going to keep this ankle nice and square. Why do we do that? We do that to protect the knee as well as the ankle. Ankle ligaments sometimes can overstretch a little bit. And when they overstretch, that could cause ankle destability. So I don't want to do that in my yoga practice, right? I want to keep the ankle structure integrated and integral. And then also, I don't want to stress out the ligaments, the meniscus, and the outer knee, so I keep this ankle squared. And then you're just going to allow this pose to evolve in its own pace. You can bring your right hand behind you in the chair if you want to help project the length from the top of your head to your seat. Nice open pose. Deep breath. You can also think about subtly moving your sit bones towards the back edge of the chair. They're not going to go there, but instead of falling back onto the sit bones, you sort of flip them back so you come to the front edge of the sit bones. Nice deep breath. Stay relaxed where you don't need to have effort. You can lift that right foot a little bit, lift the heel a little bit. If you want to increase it, you can move the Left foot towards the right hip crease a little bit if you'd like to increase. Maybe you're flexible, maybe you're drawing your chest forward but keeping the length. Keep the length, please. And when you feel complete, you can take your hand under the shin and we'll just rock this leg a little bit side to side. And then move it about a little and we'll come down. Okay, so you're going to take your chair with the chair back facing at the end of the mat and the chair back facing you. And we're going to first start out by taking a split leg forward fold just to warm up the legs so that when we proceed, the legs are ready, okay? So you're going to take your left foot forward and you'll have to play with the distance from your body to the chair. You're going to want a little space, left foot forward, right foot back, and enough space between your 2 feet that both feet can land fully on the floor. Make sure that all 10 toes are pointed forward. Feet are parallel and essentially in line with your hip joints. And then you're just going to adjust your hips so that they do face the chair back. So sometimes the hips will try to rotate a little bit towards the back leg in this position, but please attempt to face them towards the chair back. And you can bring your arms back behind you, lift the chest, lift the eyes. This is a balanced position. Exhale and fold and feel a lot of length and sturdiness from your head to your tail, as well as the inner core of your trunk. And when you are at a position where you feel like you might start to round your spine, bring the hands to the chair and do your best to keep lots of length from your head to your tail. So notice I'm not rounding my spine like humping it. I'm not tucking the tailbone under or lifting the belly. I'm going to flip the tailbone back a little bit. Keep the belly nice and long. Keep the chest wide. So if you're more flexible, of course, you're going to go a little farther down. You're going to keep this at a stage that feels appropriate for your body. A couple deep breaths. You're reaching out on the chair perhaps. You're going to really root down through the left big toe and draw the left hip back. Nice long line in the arms, nice long line in the head to tail and the spine, decompressing those vertebrae. Exhale, come up, return to the initial position, and step together into Tadasana, mountain pose, and then back with your left foot. Find your excellent rooting through your feet. So imagine if your feet were trees or bushes, they need strong roots for you to grow upwards. You're going to grow upwards through your chest. Lift your eyes as if to the sky, and then exhale, roll your hips over the thigh bones, coming into your fold, and before the spine starts to round, wherever as high up as your body needs you to be, you're going to land your arms. You could be much higher than me, or maybe you're stepping farther back and you're actually lower than me. Maybe your hands go to the chair seat, more like this, you know. That might be your version of the pose. I'm going to stay in the middle version of the pose. You're going to press your right foot strongly into the floor, especially the big toe, and draw your right hip away or back so the hips stay level to the chair back. Big breath in and out through the nose. Smooth your breath. Exhale, press the feet into the floor, come on up, return to the original position. Lift the chest, lift the eyes, exhale, step into Tadasana. You can bring your weight slightly to your heels in Tadasana. Pause there, feel a light rootedness through the feet. In your Tadasana, you can close your eyes for this if you'd like. In your Tadasana, you can feel that rootedness through your feet. I'd like you to have a sense of lightness through your head, almost as if there's a gentle ribbon pulling the top of your head up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. So even though there isn't, there's a sense of something tethering you up as well through the top of your head. And then feel a sense of your inner core, right kind of in the center of your abdomen. And imagine actually that you are tethered to the center of your core, which is what yoga does for us. So you have these roots through the feet, through the head, and into the center of your being. Good. And I want you to keep those essences as we move on into some more poses. So if your balance is a little iffy, no problem. You have a chair there. You can use chair. We're going to do tree pose. And there are several variations for what you can do with the feet. But the first thing that I'll encourage you to do is to bring the weight to the right foot and to really keep that sense of rootedness through the right foot into the core of your being and up through the top of the head. And then you can bring the sole of the right foot to the inner, see, I needed the chair, to the inner ankle, to the inner calf, inner thigh, or inner groin crease. If you want to try the inner groin crease, you're going to kind of press the heel strongly into the crease and really press in strongly with your outer right hip. And then the hands can come to prayer, or maybe you have one hand touching the chair. Hands can come to prayer, keeping your gaze, see? We weeble, we wobble, we don't fall down. Try again, it's okay. Keeping your gaze fixed on one unmoving spot. Once you have an easeful, sturdy balance, if you want to grow your tree, grow the limbs up, you can. There should be enough sturdiness in you that if you have to make micro adjustments, you do. So it's not that you're perfectly still, it's that inside the movement you micro adjust. And then of course if you fall out a little bit, if the leg has to come down or you touch the chair, it's not a problem. You weeble, you wobble, but you don't fall down. Return the foot, return the hands, check in with Tadasana. And then we'll check the other side. So again, find your sturdiness now on the left foot. From head up, core in, left foot down, and you're going to bring your right foot to wherever it makes sense for you to plug the right foot in. Keep your eyes on something, one fixed object, probably not me on the screen actually. If the hands can come to prayer, you can bring them to prayer. Keep the breath nice and steady. And if the limbs of your tree grow out or up, grow them out and up. Earth has you. The sun draws you up. Even when the winds are blowing, even when there's tumult around you, create sturdiness within you. When you're ready, coming out. Good. Okay. And so from here, we're going to bring our right leg in, hugging the right knee. And again, you have this excellent sturdiness on the left foot. And then you can reach under the left thigh and extend the right leg out if you'd like. Come down and switch. Bring the left knee in. Try to be nice and tall from head to foot. Have that inner core tether. Extend the left foot and come down. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to face the chair again. And what you're going to do is, let's see, we'll go with the left foot. You're going to cross facing the chair. You're going to cross your left foot onto your right thigh, and you're going to do your best to keep that left foot really square at the ankle. Try not to let it round. So the sole of your foot should face out to the right, not forward. Okay? So you've got your chair here. You're going to find your good balance through that right foot. Find your drishti, your gaze point. Bring the left foot to the right leg. And then with the hands in the chair, start to bend the right leg whenever possible. So you're coming into as if that seated figure four, but nice long energy from your head to your tail. And then if your balance is good, you can bring your hands to prayer pose. You might be able to descend farther towards the floor than I can, so please don't be limited by my limitations. And then exhale and stand, Tadasana. And we'll switch. So, find your root in the left foot, core, left head, cross the right foot onto the left thigh. Maybe you don't even need to touch the chair to come into that semi-squat. Maybe you just do it. Maybe you do need the chair. Kitchen counters are great for this as well. Come out, release, Tadasana. Okay, now we're going to bring our blocks behind the chair legs. So you'll have your blocks here, whatever you're using. If you don't have blocks, you could actually maybe flip the chair and use the seat as well. That could potentially be just fine. So we're going to go back to that sequence, that pose where we had the split leg forward fold, and then we're going to add some other poses into it. So actually I'm going to move this forward, and it'll be my left leg forward, right foot back, both feet flat on the floor, 10 toes pointed forward. Take your breath, inhale up, exhale, fold. You're going to roll your hips over your thigh bones. Stay nice and long as you bring your hands to the chair back first. Remember, we're going to try to square the hips to the chair back seat and keep a lot of length in that spine. From here, slide your right hand to the center of the chair back. Exhale and turn at your waist to the left. Really plant your left foot down, and then you can open up your left arm if you want. This is a modified version of revolved triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana. And by standing upright like this, by staying nice and long, we get to keep the pose really, really open. Now you can bring your hand to the chair seat potentially, or down to one of the blocks, but I only want you to make this choice if you can stay nice and long and open in the torso. So if you start to round the spine, then come up higher. Bring the hand either to the chair seat or bring it to the chair back, whatever enables you to stay really, really long and open here. Good. And then from here, you're going to step just back a little bit so your head doesn't bonk the chair. Bend that front knee. Exhale, lift your back leg. Stay in this rotated position, and you can open the arm again. And so notice that from my back leg to my head, I'm basically in one long line. So the world may be a tumult, but I have flexibility and I can turn into it. And release the back foot down. Exhale, come on up. Step together into mountain pose. Pause and feel the difference between the two sides. And then you'll step your right foot forward. I'm just switching so that I can now turn my back to you. Okay, so right foot forward, left foot back, square the hips to the chair. Bring some tone to the back, little back bend, arc, look up, exhale, roll the hips over the femur bones, coming into the fold. And you can bring your hands to the chair back or chair seat, whatever works best for you, staying as high up as you need to for the length from head to spine. And we're going to invite our right hip back, but plant the right foot, especially the big toe, plant it down. Now you're going to slide your left hand to the center of the chair back. Exhale and turn to the right. It's okay if your back heel lifts, by the way. That's not necessarily traditional, but the feet steer the hips and the hips steer the spine. So if I want to let my hips turn, I may decide, as I do in this pose, to let my back heel release so I can really maximize the rotation. But my front foot is really rooted. So that's where I'm really rooting into the earth, is through that front foot. And then I have a lot of ability to turn away. Also, the hand that's touching the chair back is rooting. So then you can descend your left hand to the chair seat or to a block, whatever enables you, or stay up high, doesn't matter. Whatever enables you to be in the pose with lots of length. Keep that front foot engaged. Pop up from your hand. Don't crush down. Pop up and rotate. And then you're gonna just shift a little bit so that your head doesn't bump the chair. Exhale, lift the back leg, and keep this rotation through your abdomen. Your back leg has to have a lot of energy, right? Otherwise it'll kind of hang and droop. So you really need to almost imagine that there's an imaginary laser beam coming out of your back left foot, or a tether to the wall behind you. And then exhale and come back and return to Tadasana. So coming into your Tadasana one last time, feet parallel, bring your weight to your heels. Bring a little bit of action to the back of your hands, the back of your arms, lift your toes, just to find the weight distribution on the feet. You can let the chin slightly drop so it's level to earth, feeling that loftiness through the back top of your head. Know, trust that there is a sturdiness within you. No matter what's happening in the world, you can have a sturdy core. Heyam dukam anagatam. The suffering that could come should be avoided. I wish you such a wonderful day. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Please do all the things you know what to do. Like the video, share it, you can comment on it, please subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you.